Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. 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 Oh, I used to think that I had to. I used to think that I should. The scripture told me that I had to be good. Now I love because I want to. I love because I am free, blinded by the Spirit. Oh Lord, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, 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 I don't need any prodding, don't need any law. I want to sing with all my heart that God is my all and all and all. I let go of my burdens. Loving God has made me free and thankful for my freedom. Oh yeah, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, yes it is. The Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, the Spirit of God is upon me. I thought it was my job. Somewhere I believed that loving God would be hard, but loving God is wonderful. Loving God is ecstasy. I'm thankful for my blessings. Oh yeah, the Spirit of God is upon me. Oh, 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 the Spirit of God is upon me. Everybody make a joyful noise. Come on. Everybody make a joyful noise. You know how to make a joyful noise. Clap your hands and lift your voice. Everybody make a joyful noise. Everybody lift your voice in song. Everybody lift your voice in song. Come on, lift your voice in song. You can do it, sing along. Everybody lift your voice in song. Everybody clap on 2 and 4. Everybody clap on 2 and 4. Come on, clap on 2 and 4. Make it louder, give it more. Everybody clap on 2 and 4. Living big for God's the way to go. Living big for God's the way to go. Living big is the way to go. Give it up, just let it flow. Living big for God's the way to go. We intend to make a joyful noise. We intend to make a joyful noise. We know how to make a joyful noise. Clap your hands and lift your voice. We intend to make a joyful noise. We intend to make a joyful noise. We intend to make a joyful noise. Hey.
Yes. Good morning, Ahava Center for Spiritual Living. Let's give some love up for this band, y'all. Feel that love. Music director Joe Cinquina, bass vocals. Lauren Dechtenberg on keys, vocals, and doing our reading. John Dittert on percussion. Our featured vocalist today is Mr. Justin Norris, giving us all the extra oohs and ahs. And, of course, Mr. Jeff Watts on sound. Thank you, Jeff. Ahava is the Hebrew word for love. And we gather together every Sunday knowing that love is always the answer. That's right. We are a conscious community committed to curiosity so that we may provide a loving space to be reminded of the truth of who we are. We are an open and affirming community, so whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual path of discovery, know that you are absolutely welcome here. If you're joining us online this morning via our live stream, please say hello in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from today. Make sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And if you're in the room as well, we invite you to take out your phone, take pictures, take video clips. We won't give you the stink eye. Just make sure you turn down that phone so you don't get a little extra embarrassed if it starts to play back at you, right? So please share, check in on social media, and let folks know where the love is at today. If you are a guest joining us for the first time here, please know that your presence here makes a difference. And we are so grateful for you adding to your energy to this cosmic soup that we call our beloved community. If you're joining us for the first time, if you feel comfortable, just raise your hand or stand. Let us say hello, give you a little extra love. So welcome, thank you. And our core council will be giving you a little connection card. You may have already received one when you arrived. And then if you want to fill that out, bring it to the bookstore, which is right here. Another one over here, Colleen. Right over here. And we have a special gift for you there afterwards as well. And stick around after service so we can get to know you more for coffee and tea. And we are having cake today as well to honor and celebrate this beloved band. As it is our last Sunday with this full band, please stick around and share some love for that as well. We are so grateful for the many hearts and hands and folks that come together, giving of their time, their talent, and their treasure. So I want to take a moment just to thank all of you who give of your time and serve as a volunteer of this community. If you want to just take a moment to give yourself a pat on the back, volunteers, everyone else, give them some love and appreciation. Serving is a wonderful way to get more involved and to get connected in this community. So if you're looking for an opportunity to serve, you can speak to myself, you can speak to Jean, who's standing in the back, one of our core council members, and we will get you plugged in. So now is a moment where we get to recognize that we are one. And as such, we are all a reflection of one another. So I invite you to, if you're comfortable, maybe put your hands over your heart, turn to someone and say, thank you for being a reflection of me. Mm-hmm. And we have a powerful vision and purpose here. So I invite you to repeat after me. We are an inclusive community. Committed to global transformation. Through personal evolution. And our purpose, let's do it together, Wake up, step up, and make a difference. That's right. Today's affirmation, I will speak once and then we can affirm together. I listen to my inner guidance and trust I am on the right path. I listen to my inner guidance and trust I am on the right path. Yes. So let's now take a deep breath. As we move into our centering song and our opening prayer, which will be led this morning by our practitioner, Kim D'Amato.
In this place, my soul's free from the light within. I see all the joy, all the peace. Carry me, carry me, carry me, oh, carry me. In this place, love abides. Holy light, surrender me. All the joy, all the peace. Carry me, carry me, carry me, oh, carry me.
Breathing into all that love, that one life, that one source. I know that we intend to make a joyful noise today, that we intend for the peace and the love and the infinite order that Spirit is to create out of each beautiful individual here all that is to come. In every moment, every new possibility, I know that every second is a new beginning. I know the love and the infinite divine order and peace of the one, and the joy of the one. And I'm so grateful for each and every beloved soul here, for our volunteers, for everybody contributing to our service, for our music team. I bless each and every person here. I bless our minister, Reverend Rainbow. And I simply let it be by saying, and so it is, amen.
All the joy, all the peace. Carry me, and carry me, carry me, oh, carry me. Today's reading is from Everything is Sacred by Richard Rohr and Patrick Boland. Truly enlightened people see oneness because they look out from oneness, instead of labeling everything as superior and inferior, in or out. But looking out from oneness requires us to first look in. We must start by examining how we separate and divide our interior world, including our own self-image, into different parts. If we don't begin here,
we will have a tough time seeing a cosmic notion that competes with and excludes no one, but includes everyone and everything. If we allow this vision to permeate our vision of ourselves, we come to see that all is anointed. The flowers and trees, the cities and stores, saints and animals, and all people. Surely this is an enchanted way of seeing the world, to see everything as a miracle.
Everything beneath the sun breathes like a harmonium. Pure perfection has begun, shining like a midnight sun. Out of darkness I have come. I see God in let me be an instrument, guided by an heaven sent. May these grapes of pain ferment, alchemize to love's content, ever be a sacrament, knowing God is God, let me know your name. Hold me in the same breath as your word. Oh God, I feel you all around me. Oh, how you astound me with your grace. Rolling like a thundercloud, let me live my love out loud, standing for mankind and proud, baptized in a holy shroud. Peace be still and know me now, God is all that I have found. God, let me know your name. Hold me in the same breath as your word. God, I feel you all around. Oh, how you astound me with your grace. God, spinning like a breath field, turning like Ezekiel's wheel. Nothing like a kiss seals this spirit I've become. Oh, knowing what I'm here for. I feel you all around. Rolling home to distant shores, floating from the infinite. With your grace. God in everyone. Oh, spinning like a breath field. Let me know your name. Turning like Ezekiel's wheel.
Let's take a deep breath. Yes, grateful, grateful. Thank you. So last week, Reverend Linda Jackson kicked off this month's theme, Everything is Sacred, by talking about how everything on our path is for our awakening. Everything is an opportunity for learning, for growth. And when we view life from this perspective of wholeness, of oneness, we can see, we have the lens to see the sacred in everything and everyone and every experience. And choosing how we meet the conditions of life with either, we are always at choice, are we choosing to see ourselves as a victim to circumstance or as an empowered, conscious being on an evolutionary journey towards a greater awareness, expansion into our inherent wholeness and oneness with all life? Is life happening to me or through me? Or better yet, as me? Am I awake and aware or sleepwalking through life? So it's easy to judge certain things as holy and then others as secular or profane or human. This dualistic mindset of sacred versus profane is very, common to our nature because our brain wants to label things, wants to categorize, wants to put things in boxes. And it can take a while to actually unlearn those patterns. How many of you heard that most of life is actually about unlearning as opposed to learning? So embracing non-dualism, integrating all, is our opportunity to see that everything is sacred and to live into our aliveness and our wholeness. So we can make steps consciously towards developing this mindset, this paradigm shift into a worldview that begins to look beyond the surface of how things appear and to search for the deeper meaning, the deeper truth, and the deeper beauty and understanding and awareness and opportunity of what is showing up and what it is showing us. So this shift in our framework creates a more expansive view, not only of ourselves, but of the world around us and each other. And it calls us to lean into life, the sacred and the profane, the joy and the sadness, the pain, and to explore the sacred in those things that are both expected and those unexpected twists and turns of life. So we may judge certain activities, for example, to make this really practical, certain activities in our life as being boring or mundane. But if we can place our attention, our intention into this area of life with curiosity and reverence, we can begin to see things differently. Those things that we once complained about can actually be an opportunity for healing and awakening, just as those things that we have revered as holy, right? We can receive an insight in the shower, doing dishes, on the toilet, the same as we can in moments on the mat or the cushion or the meditation chair or in song and praise, if we are tuned to seeing all of life in this way. So this shift in our mindset becomes this catalyst, and before we even realize it, we are beginning to move through life experiencing everything as sacred. And this sacred also begins to stir within us this energy of aliveness and passion, and moves us, calls us, inspires us to begin to take certain actions and things in our life that may outpicture in our activities, in our relationships, in our passions and desire to care for our community, our dedication to certain causes and sacred activism, and moving towards not only our own personal growth, but this collective evolution. This commitment to the flow of life, in essence, becomes one of our most sacred acts. Always listening for that inner guidance, and then taking inspired action on what is ours to do. Breathing in and out, moving in ways that speak to this inner connection with all that is. So I've been reading this book that was shared with the reading this morning, Every Day, or Everything is Sacred. Richard Rohr, Patrick Boland, so Patrick Boland has kind of taken one of Richard Rohr's known books, and they've come together, and he's kind of added some insight to it, and then they've put some practices to it as well. So it's a very practical way of looking at things. And so Richard Rohr presents this idea of a tricycle as a metaphor for finding balance with all things in life. And he is a father in the Christian, more kind of Catholic, Episcopalian, I believe, Catholic faith, and so that is which his lens comes through. But as I read this, we can, each of us, wherever we find ourselves, see how we can map on to this analogy, that which resonates for us. So he says the three wheels are scripture, tradition, and experience. So scripture, being these, sacred writings to him, the Bible, and for us, perhaps it's any sort of sacred text or writing, or the writings of our founder, Ernest Holmes. Our spiritual principles can be this idea of this one wheel. This other wheel being tradition. What are the practices and the rituals of certain faiths and spiritual practices? Those things that we have done that provide the comfort over time because it's familiar, and it calls to something like a deeper lineage, right? Of our ancestors and various practices. So for many, walking into a cathedral can provide that sense, if that is a tradition that you are familiar with, lighting a candle. And then we have experience. Our experience is actually our life. It's our day-to-day life. It's what we think. It's what we do. It's how we, show up and live and work and eat and breathe and all the things that we do, our relationships, our activities. It's a very practical approach to this thing called life. So Father Rohr encourages us to make experience the front wheel and to approach life through our experiences, and then begin to map on our traditions and our spiritual teachings to what is happening. And so if we were to look at this analogy of finding balance, of finding everything as sacred and not placing tradition or scripture above our current experience, or vice versa, right? Having this balance, but yet still letting our life experience be that front wheel, leading the way, it can invite us to this idea, this very practical approach of living life as sacred. And it invites us to open up to a new perspective and not just lean on the past, but to find within our own life experience that which is calling us, right? So today's talk is called Spirit is Still Speaking, because we're going to be looking at this idea that life is happening through us, and that there is this inner guidance, something within us that knows, this life that is moving through us, that is speaking as us. So as my friend Reverend Dan Granda says, referring to the ways that sometimes people in this Science of Mind, Centers for Spiritual Living movement can look at and hold to the traditions and the writings of Ernest Holmes as being the top, right? So he says it's not what Holmes wrote, but what he is saying. So when we take this approach, we can free ourselves from getting stuck on the literal words that were written or spoken in a particular time, in a particular context of life. And we can look at what was the actual message. It calls us to interpret between the lines and make it relevant in today's life. And to, not just try to fit with or stick with or spout certain quotes, whether it be from Scripture or from Holmes or whatever, to blame or shame or judge or try to say that this is the way. And, I know for many religious folks that this is seen as blasphemy. People don't want you to question because it shakes their influence, their power, perhaps. But if we hold on too much to the Scripture or the tradition, without making it relevant in today's experience, it's like riding a unicycle instead of a tricycle. And I don't know if any of you have ever tried that, but it's pretty hard to balance. A tricycle allows us to glide through life so much easier because it is steady and it is grounded, so much that a child can ride it. So Richard Rohr encourages us to read these texts as a mystery with no one simple meaning, but as multiple layers of understanding that speaks to us individually where we are, helps us have a broader perspective, and encourages us to grow and develop. So for me, growing up in the Science of Mind with Ernest Holmes, there was a way, especially learning these teachings as a child, where I had a very childlike, literal black and white perspective for many years until that began to be confronted by my own life experiences and others around me. And what I find now that when I read Ernest Holmes, that something new strikes me, even though I've read the same passage over and over. And I like to, even though they're falling apart and duct taped together, use the same books because I can see what I have highlighted, what I've underlined, what I've written in the margin, and it brings me back to a certain time of, oh, I remember that insight and that aha. And I read it now and be like, are you sure this was here before? Like, I never even saw this part. I never noticed this word. And it brings a new insight today for where I am and what that Spirit is guiding me to know today based on my own growth and expansion and consciousness. And so this multi-layered mystery of understanding life is something that Dr. Ernest Holmes called being open at the top. And this is something that is brought up a lot in our movement, and there's a little contention around what that means. Some are afraid that being open at the top means that we will get so far away from the original teachings that it will be lost. And others lean into being open at the top as the path for saying, well, Holmes wanted us to keep evolving, right? So being open at the top really, means opening to the evolutionary growth and expansion of consciousness, which is what Holmes taught, which is what many spiritual teachings, philosophies, ideas show us. Nature itself shows us that we are on this evolutionary journey, always growing, always expanding in the infinite nature of who we are and what the world is. And this can be applied to all areas of our life, in our community, in our movement, in our organization, and in our own systems of our society. So I particularly am just kind of wired this way, right? To be open at the top and looking at things from a perspective of growth and where we're going as opposed to the past. And even as a kid, I've always found it interesting when I would learn things in history and think like, wow, like that was acceptable at some time to do certain things that are now seem so obviously barbaric, right? And even things like related to our body, or like wearing corsets, for example, for women, and I would look at these things and I would see it from today and then immediately think, well, I wonder what we're doing today that in 20 years, 50 years, 100, 200 years, we're going to look back and be like, they did that? And I think I've probably shared this before, but going on the corset model, I'm like, pretty soon we're going to look back at underwire bras and be like, what? They did that? At certain shoes that pinch your feet? I don't know. That's just my perspective. But there's other things that we can look at if we start to get curious that we're seeing right now a shift around, like this idea of gender. We're starting to lose our grip on, in a good way, like lose the grip on holding tightly that gender is this specific thing and these constructs, or certain habits that have been deemed socially acceptable. Then we learn like, oh, that's actually bad for your health. These kind of things, right? And so, I come from a place of looking at things that we do that spark a sense of, to then hold a space and a grace for the change and evolution. And it's not always easy, but, when we start to think about how to live life, being open at the top and embrace curiosity in all areas of our life, it leads us to then be inspired to what is our passion and what we are called to take action for, to take a stand for, and to begin to open to a vision, a different vision, an inspired vision of life. To embrace the mystery of life and to let go of the things that we think we know and hold so tightly on, even our beliefs. Our beliefs about life, about God, about the universe. When we embrace curiosity and an evolution of vision for our own life and the world, we may see our beliefs start to shift. I've experienced this, and especially the time leading up about a year and a half ago or so to my ordination. It's like, okay, I'm saying yes to being ordained as a minister of science of mind or religious science in the organization of Centers for Spiritual Living. Like, is that 100% me, right? And like we can have all these things, and then I start to like, I don't know what I believe. Like 20 years ago, I would have said yes, but. And now I'm like, the more I know I don't know, and I'm okay with that. So reading and rereading different writings and inspiration brings an opportunity for new insight into today, for who we are today. Our world has changed dramatically, so fast in the past few years. So what if we were to embrace the actual what Holmes was saying in this philosophy, not the literal words, that it is evolutionary, and as such, it is evolving, and it calls us rather to not just study the words of a sacred text, but to experience a certain aliveness within those words, constantly reflecting back, does this still work for me? What does this mean now for who I am today? What does the world need today? Again, and everything is sacred. This is Patrick Boland's words in reflecting on one of Richard Rohr's teachings. He says, mystery doesn't mean that something is unknowable. It merely points to the fact that there are endless ways of seeing the same thing. My job is to let go of enough order and control so I can experience life's mysteries in full. I'm going to say this again, and I want you to think about this, maybe in relationship to a relationship in your life or a belief or a certain path or thing that perhaps you have kind of held in a very rigid way. So mystery doesn't mean that something is unknowable. What? You know, this idea that mystery doesn't mean that something is unknowable, it holds us it holds us a little more accountable, right? If we can just think of mystery meaning, well, we can't ever know it, then we can just like forget about it and I don't have to think about it. But if mystery means that something isn't unknowable, but it points to the fact that there are endless ways of seeing the thing, that invites us into curiosity to say, how can I see something from as many perspectives as possible and then figure out what resonates for me? How can I invite in various perspectives into my world through different relationships and going into places and gathering information and reading books and texts and things from people outside of my own worldview or demographic or whatever it may be, to see that perhaps the mystery means there's just endless ways of seeing the same thing and letting go of needing to be right. Letting go of, as he says, enough order and control so I can experience life mysteries in full. Whoa, right? So something that you may or may not know is that I am a ministerial school dropout. Don't worry, I completed. I got the papers. I'm legit. But the first time I began to study and said, okay, I felt this like moment. I mean, I literally, like the calling was this like real thing. And then I saw this person speak and like, you're my teacher. This is what I need to do. And I uprooted my whole life. Love you, Heather. And we're still working that out. But anyway, grace, love, compassion, empathy. So anyway, so I go, and then all of a sudden I began to question the way I was being taught science of mind principles as the one and the only right way. Through a certain way, there was such a tension and anxiety in the class to get it right. And I grew up in this. I knew all the information. I had all the right answers. That was like the easy part for me. So I was kind of seen as like, right? Like the whatever child of, I was 30, but anyway, still seen as the child. And so then, it may seem as a shock to many when I was like, and I couldn't quite articulate at the time why I had to leave. But what I have come to realize, even though it looked like I was like, I'm just ready to go do my thing, and I don't need to do all these hoops and things and la la la. I just want to go and do the work, right? Like I don't want to da da da. So it looked like that, but really I was bumping up against the fundamental approach to this teaching. In the same way that I had judged Bible thumpers and others, I was now seeing how I had done the same thing with Science of Mind and how I had thought that this was the right path. And because people find it and it feels so like I'm home at these teachings, that it must be the right way. And I began to judge as a reflection of me, the teacher who stood in such a fundamental position on these teachings, and then feeling that rejection of that I had to leave. You know, this idea of getting it right, or, well, what does Holmes say about this, or always having to prove the ultimate authority by going back to the textbook and the Science of Mind, and where does it say that, and, you know, well, how is this thing that you want to do or be today, explain how that is related to this teaching or spiritual principle, and, well, that's not Science of Mind, and all these ideas and opinions. And I was like, nope, I don't want to be a fundamentalist of anything. Yeah. I think I found my people, y'all. And so, yeah, it took me until really recently, another layer of this that has come up for me is how then I began to confront the limitation of trying to get it right, of trying to meet everyone's expectation of what it means to be a good minister, of what it means to be a good person, of what it means to be a good spiritual leader, which there are multiple perspectives for every person that meets me, and so many opinions that finally, it came to a head, and I had to say, enough's enough. I can't be everything for everyone, and I can't please everyone. And to truly find within myself my own guidance and listen to that intuition of my heart's desires, knowing and trusting that I am here now, guided and led in the right and perfect time, in the right and perfect place, because Spirit is still speaking. And Spirit brought me here today, and to trust that. And to trust that what I am offering and bringing is not a match for everyone, and that's okay. But it is a match for some, many, and for those, they will find. We will find, rather, each other. We will find each other. That's what I said, right? I found my people. Those of you, and aha, and oho, and Spirit is still speaking. Just as it did through Holmes those many years ago, just as it did through Jesus and Buddha, just as it did through my grandmother and the grocery store clerk and my neighbor and the artist and the musician and the poet. Spirit is still speaking through all of us. We all have this divine potential, and yet what do? We want to put people on a pedestal and say, you show me the way and you do it right, and then maybe I'll try this on for myself. If you don't fall, and if you meet all of my expectations perfectly, then maybe I'll try taking a little responsibility and see if this teaching is legit. Spirit is still speaking. Are you listening? Even when it's disrupting your comfort zone. Ugh. And better still, are you willing to take the action that you are being called to take? That's the true opportunity where the healing lives, where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, when we treat, when we pray, and we move our feet. And we trust that everything is showing up for us, even in the pain and the mess and the struggle. But what I know is everything I have bumped up against in my life so far is not permanent. And with a little time and grace and space and peace and wisdom and contemplation, baths, lots of baths this week. Right? I can gain that insight and that perspective over time. I don't always see it in the moment. Oh, Lord, no. But when we know and trust that something is moving, is stirring within us as a live activity right here, right now, we can't help but move and keep it alive. Not being stuck with what others think or should be or what some teachers said, but to find the aliveness and how it works through each of us. Embracing the sacred in all is, for me, I'm discovering it's really not about like enlightenment or awakening or some moment. It's about integration. Integrating all of who we are, our pain bodies, our wounded inner child, our mess, and our magnificence. It's not about transcending those things without actually integrating them, or thinking that we are, enlightened because we don't look at or talk about those things, but they're still in our subconscious running the show and come out in these moments, and then we're like, oh, yeah, another layer of healing there, right? So integration actually calls us to really sit with it and to know it, but on the other end of the spectrum, not to let it lead. Not to let the fear and the doubt and the unworthiness, lead, but to, like we would a little child who skins their knee, hold them, let them cry, and then dust it off and get back out and play. Don't say, oh, you didn't skin your knee. Go, run. It's all good. I don't, right? We don't deny. We embrace. We hold. To get curious about the aspects of ourselves that we tend to ignore or exclude. The experiences or the stories or the ideas that we may want to not look at, shy away from, even though they are an authentic part of our life and our journey. So to further explore, what are the identities or the personas we have created as armor to protect ourselves from showing these areas of vulnerability, to hide our internal shame or fear or doubt by putting on a persona. And then, consider the immense energy it takes to maintain those identities. It's exhausting. So the work is integration, embracing wholeness, and everything is sacred. So this has been showing up for me a lot through embracing grief. Something that I felt like I was not really taught how to do, neither is our society. And then this email landed in my inbox yesterday, so I want to read this to you all. This comes from the Conscious Leadership Group, which is, there's a book called The 15 Commitments. Comes out of this teaching. So they said in this email, we see a cultural resistance to grief and grieving, and yet we are grieving in epidemic proportions, right? Here's the rub, right? So there's a culture, like, oh, don't be sad, don't grieve, don't, but yet we are grieving at epidemic proportions. So when you read the news, what do you do next? Do you acknowledge and feel your feelings all the way through, or you do something, anything else? Grief is a process of honoring and letting go of a vision that is no longer to be. When reality parts ways with our vision and we don't allow ourselves to feel heartbreak deep in our bones, in every crevice and cell, we then, falsely, they say, believe that we are isolated, disconnected, and disempowered. I'm going to say that again. When reality parts ways with our vision and we don't allow ourselves to feel the heartbreak, we falsely believe that we are isolated, disconnected, and disempowered. When we believe and we act as if this is true, it then becomes our reality, right? Then we start to see evidence of it, and we're like, see, there they go. They're doing that, and prove to ourselves this very false belief. However, if we choose to numb or distract ourselves from feeling the heartbreak, it may provide a very temporary relief, but it keeps us from inhabiting aliveness. And without aliveness, we have no clean fuel to be the change within ourselves, our family, our organization, our communities, or the world. Hence, the subject line, grieve like your life depends on it. Because it does. Generously gives us opportunities every day to let our hearts break open. So what will you do? And how will you be the next time life graces you with a chance to grieve? Let's take a deep breath. So this week, let us embrace the sacred, not as a static object or a specific activity or practice, not even an ideology or philosophy, but instead, let us embrace the sacred as the very action and activity and aliveness of our life, as a way of seeing ourselves and others and moving about the world, asking, what has to shift in my awareness to view all things as sacred? And what do I need to integrate to fully experience a deeper understanding of wholeness and oneness? So let's take that question into prayer. Breathing now. Letting our awareness shift to the very essence, the very presence of spirit within, that is the very thing that beats our hearts and breathes us. The very activity of life itself. This life that is love, that is wholeness, that is peace, that is joy, that is freedom. Knowing that this is who I am. I am one with all of life, and therefore this very divine sacred activity of life is moving through me now as love, as peace, as joy, as freedom, as full self-expression, no holding back anymore. Being led and guided right here, right now, to what is mine to embrace, to integrate, to hold sacred. What is moving within me now that is begging for a little more attention, a little more space and grace to feel, to acknowledge that inner child, that core wound, knowing that right here, right now, we have the strength and the power backed by the entire universe supporting us, that we can choose right here, right now to experience a healing, to shift, for transformation is happening now. The past holds nothing over today. For today we are made new in the aliveness of spirit as it is alive in, as, and through all life. Right here, right now, I claim this great awakening within my heart, within my mind, to shift my perspective, to see all as sacred, and to know and to remember the truth, and the love, and the beauty of who I am. So grateful. So grateful to know that a healing is happening now. It is done. As I set my word and speak this intention into the action of the law that always says, yes, 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 my beloved, it is done, it is so. And together we say, and so it is. Yes.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love.
Yes. Now I invite you, if you're comfortable, to just turn to someone or affirm within your own heart that love sets me free today. Yes. Love sets me free today. Yes. All right. Whew. So, before we move into our time of conscious giving, the last Sunday of every month is our Community Giving Sunday. And it's not the last Sunday, but last month we had to reschedule. And so today we are getting to hear from Brittany Gentry from Trauma Education and Advocacy. So Brittany, come on up, also known as T. And we'll bring you a little microphone here. And this is the organization that we're going to be giving to from October. And tell us a lot about yourself. What you're up to.
Thank you for allowing me to be. Oh, I'm kind of short here, so bear with me. Thank you so much for allowing me to be in this space. I'm very moved. I love the mission or your purpose. The wake up,
Step up, make a difference. Yes.
Hey, that hit different. Honestly, I could say that has a lot to do with why I came up with this nonprofit. Because I've been in mental health, so I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm Dr. Brittany Gentry. I wear many hats. Yes. I am the co-clinical director of the Trauma Informed Counseling Center. It is a for-profit here. We do mental health services mainly on trauma. We have a full clinician staff. I'm also the founder and president of Trauma Education and Advocacy. It's a new nonprofit that I formed where we gear towards trying to empower those that have been affected by community violence, youth-involved community violence at that. So within my 10 years of being an LCSW, one of the things I started to realize is that I had a lot of clients that were either involved as victim of or witness to community violence, indirectly and directly, or they themselves were the perpetrator, meaning they had a hand in the actual violence. And I started to see the pattern that a lot of them had a lot of childhood trauma that was unhealed, right? Because again, I love is always the answer. Yeah. They don't really have that love at a very, very impactful time of their life. So you have someone who's bright and bubbly like me, ready to accept everybody and seeing them for their pain and not their behavior. I started to realize that I had a certain rapport with these kids that I wanted to be able to share and educate that their behavior is not who they are. If they could just heal from what they've been through, maybe we can get them to stop the violence. Yeah. So it's a new nonprofit where we've been pairing up a lot with Lexington and Fayette County Public Schools, doing a lot in the schools because they're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Now they're not always there. Yeah. They're supposed to be there. And so during COVID, the silver lining was, Brittany, wake up. step up and make a difference. And so I've been trying to kind of put this together on top of the many other hats. I also teach the master's program at UK, so do a lot of things. So I am just very grateful that it's being recognized and that you guys, communities like you guys can truly see, because the old African proverb says, a child who is not embraced by their village will burn it down to the ground to feel its warmth. And so the uptick in violence in Lexington, we're starting to see that something has to give. So again, One Lexington's been a big part of that. And so with T, we're hoping to bridge that gap with other organizations so they can all just build a more stable foundation and village for these kids.
Yes. So. Thank you, Dr. Brittany. Give her some love. So if you would like to know more on how you can get involved, if this is speaking to your heart, see Dr. Brittany today, in addition to knowing that this community circulates and are good through giving to local organizations. So let us now move into that time of giving. There's several ways that you can give online. You can go to our website, click the Giving tab. You can text the word GIVE to 859-209-6996. You can mail in your gifts, or we're going to pass a basket in the room as well. So I invite you just to place your hands over your heart and to repeat after me. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I joyously contribute to the vision of Ahava, knowing it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 Grateful.
All right, so we have a number of happenings coming up. We have our Thanksgiving potluck and games on Thanksgiving Day here. If you're looking for community, you can sign up in the community room or online to participate. And then next, we have December 2nd, this amazing workshop called Revive, Awakening Your Chakras with Synergy Dance, Movement, and Flow. So if you want to feel that aliveness, check that out. And you can sign up on our website, ahavacenter.net, for that. And there's flyers around with QR codes too that can take you there on your phone. And then next December 9th, what do we have? Miss Tina! Yes. She is releasing a new album, and come here that Saturday night to celebrate with her for a listening party. Do sign up in advance so she knows, and we put that in our e-newsletter and other places. Follow her on social media as well, and you can see where that link is to sign up for that as well. And then December 21st, Mini Pass, One Light. Be here, spread the word, 6:30. And we have a number of ongoing events as well. Check those out in our newsletter, online, all the places. So let us now turn it back over to our amazing music team.
Flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. passing on by. You know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on a tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean. Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Don't you know? Sleep in peace when day is done. That's what I mean. And this world is a new world, and a bold world for me, for me, yeah. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new life, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Oh, I'm feeling good. Oh, I'm feeling good.
Give it up, give it up. Woo! Yes. Yes. Ow, ow, ow. All right.
We love you. You're a shining star, wonderful, just the way you are. We celebrate your sacred face. We love you just the way you are. We love you just the way you are.
So what did we talk about today?
I honor my ancestors, right? Okay, so Cadence is going to share how she honors her grandfather.
Okay, so the minister, my mom, has a dad, and he died when she was 19, but I never got to meet him. So for his birthday, when we have oatmeal cream pie.
Yes.
And tell him about your things you made.
I made like pipe cleaner animals, and this project we did, it's thankful trees.
With jewels.
So fancy.
Because the leaves wouldn't stick.
Can I show them? Can I show them? So Caroline made this really cool picture. And the really cool thing about this is that as she was designing it on the front, we noticed that on the back it was making another pattern. Hold it, you can't hear it. Oh, sorry. So we noticed that on it was making a pattern. So we thought that was really cool, and we wanted to share that with you guys.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, let's give it up again for our little ones.
The only one who did the project. Okay. I'm the only one who wanted it.
Okay. All right, so. We were hiking yesterday, and she said something, and then she was like, sorry if I embarrassed you, but you embarrass me all the time. Oh, well. All right, so just a reminder that we have licensed spiritual practitioners that are here to support you with prayer. We have Kim D'Amata here if you would like in-person prayer, and there's also a prayer box here where you can leave your prayer request. So let us now stand, and before we bring this to service to a close, affirm something wonderful is happening to me right now.
Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
It's this thing called life.
It's this thing called life.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my affairs.
Life is in my affairs.
I accept it.
I accept it.
I am it. I share it. Just the way it appears. And just the way it appears not. Thank you, life.
Thank you, life.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to call up our vocal team today for the grand finale. As you know, this is a very difficult day for me. I was a member of this congregation for 14 years, and the past 11 I have been the music director, and I'm really proud of what we built, but I had a lot of help, and I need to thank a few people before I sign off for the last time. So I want to thank our founding minister, Reverend Sunny, for her vision and her commitment to the music program, because she understood that music touches a part of the human soul that words alone can't reach. And we brought the fire today. I hope you felt it. I hope you enjoyed it. We always bring the fire, and we're going to miss it. We're going to miss it a lot. I also want to thank the band. I have to give a special shout out to the band. These guys are incredible, and these women are incredible, and it's been an honor to work with them all. John, you're a rock. I love you.
Woo!
Lauren, both of these guys are so very multi-talented. I would take a lot of time to mention all their achievements, but Lauren, I'm going to miss you too, buddy. All our vocalists, Margot, Kim, Tina, Justin, Heather for filling in sometimes when we needed her. And I want to thank Reverend or Dr. Louise Talon for being such a good friend. And I want to thank Reverend Cynthia for just everything. And the congregation, finally, past and present, thank you for your words of encouragement and support and for appreciating what we brought to the table. I'm sorry we won't be here next week. So thank you very much. We love you. I do wish you well. If you see me out and about somewhere, please come up and say hi.
Do you want to do that cards with it?
We're going to sign off for the last time. Here we go. Let's bring this to music. 1, 2,
great.
3,
Okay.
4.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
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 Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me love 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 in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Thank you all for coming out, for tuning in. Best of luck to you. Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me live in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me leave in a holy, holy way.
Let me leave in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.